Yeah. Lies they spread. Lies they spread. Got me laying on the bed, eyes red like lava from the Makawana. Stories. Take heed to their lies. There's a lot of truth there. Yo. Stories, all they tell us stories. Taking the glories, won't do nothing for me. Fucking stories.
Llamas.
No, we're waiting.
Well, it's live, so we might as well start saying hello to everybody, right? Because
right.
it's for posterity, right?
But they're looking for people, though. We're telling your... Oh, let me not kick the table so it doesn't vibrate.
Get y'all chooches.
Have you received the notification yet?
Request to be in this live video.
Yeah, there she is.
Wait. Islam Empress.
Easy. And I can see you got my gym right now.
Oh, you got the kickstand and all that?
Because that's what I did.
Except, grabbed you now. Let's see. Khalifa Society says, Salam boo. All right, so we got you. Oh, there's going to be feedback, is that?
Okay.
Yeah, but you missed. Well. Oh, you're going to do headphones, okay. And your camera's off. Islam Mafi.
Islam Mo.
All right. Turn this off. Just waiting for a couple of people to join. Hopefully some more people join.
Salam, salam.
Salam. Ooh.
You know, while we're waiting for them to join, I guess we start the just a very light-hearted conversation. How you found it so far, Mods? How's it feel being first time us being together?
It's jokes, man. It's just mad jokes. It's just jokes.
Peace.
It's just jokes, and it's just two people. Oh, okay. So then Khalifa's the second person. Khalifa's the second person. Come on, man. We need more people, man. There's supposed to be like 50 people online right now. Hopefully someone can join. But, yeah, that's why, you know. But, yeah, so anyways, to let everybody know, we are at Granada. Oh, give thanks, man. Thanks, man. Trying our best. My eyesight is MZM
Maurice 3.
Maurice 3. Peace.
Peace.
Quick. Yeah, yo. Thanks, man. Try. But yeah, so we're at Granada. You know, we got together again. What is that? Yahia 4615. Peace. Islam. Yeah, so we got together again, and the last time you saw our live, we were at Munich, and then the Moore's Tea Shop, and is there another one?
I think we did something in Nuremberg, just outside maybe the museum as well.
We had a lot of time again.
Did we?
I don't know. I don't think
the Abyssinian place. Oh, before we
right. Yeah. Watch this. Yeah.
Before we went to the Abyssinian place.
Yeah, probably. But anyways, so that was like, man, that's crazy. That was 2 years ago.
Right? It doesn't feel like that. And then I guess then Empress and I did
right.
a live when we were at Columbia.
Right. So last year, Aseniah and Empress, if she ever gets on, they went to Columbia. Yeah, there's
Islam Empress.
She like we are in an Airbnb and she's just in the room there. Yeah, they went to Columbia last year. I'm like, I can go, and I was just like, man.
You with us in spirit, man. You definitely with us in spirit.
Yeah. And so now Granada, and the picture that I posted on my stories last night was obviously, y'all should know. the Alhambra from the outside. So we're walking in the city last night. Oh, you're coming? Oh, it's not. Your live's not working or what?
I just wanted to put my face over. It's Love Morris.
So you're not gonna join the music?
Yeah, it's still on, but it's just like.
Just move it back. Just move it back. It's fine.
Yeah, but
Wait.
okay. So can y'all hear us? Because we can't turn the phone in landscape mode to see all three. So can you hear us at this distance? You know, let us know.
Sounds like you're coming through loud and clear on that.
Yeah.
Feedback. Our voices carry more. You got that power, that bass in our voice. But
So let us know, yeah, Mafi or somebody, let us know if y'all can hear us properly. And it's not crazy. Any more that are online right now?
So, and let me get my phone.
All right, perfect.
Yeah, let me get my phone and then I could be looking down so we could like.
Oh, so you can
Yeah. So like, and I'll make sure to turn off the sound.
Okay.
Yeah, so we're working on, you know. We're getting it.
Yeah.
putting stuff together for you. But yeah, just echoing sentiment, like for the third year in a row, I've been able to travel with Moors, and every single year it's just the experience gets richer and richer. Having connected with Moors like over 2 years ago,
Hey, Rue.
and just as Emperor said it like 2 years ago, it's just really easy. Like whenever it comes to a point where we kind of put stuff into the ethers. Sometimes forget that it's going to happen, and then we're in the throes of the trip, and then we realize that we said this was going to happen. So it's the more and more we travel together, the more and more of these divine experiences I can manifest and unfold. And I've never been around Moors or even individuals that, in terms of the time on this physical plane, that we haven't known each other, say, for a super extended amount of time, but we've been family in the spirit for many, many eons. It's so easy. We vibe, we work together. We've really created this trio, and it's wherever we go, they feel our presence. Whether it's positively, negatively, they feel our presence. And I will say something, as I'd say one of the newest Moors on the channel. Well done, Moors. It's tough, it's a challenge, but everywhere we go, every destination we get to, the message is arriving. How many times have we discussed with people and they either understand Moorish, or they know who Moors are, or Moros, or they recognize the fairs or the Tarbouche, and they recognize it for the right reason. So I'll just give you all praise out worldwide, Moors. Well done. Keep doing your thing. We're changing the narrative.
Yeah, just to add on, this was the first, or let's see, when Empresca comes, you see. Yeah, we're burning incense, so it smells.
Non-chocolate is the one.
So it's smelling kind of nice. Well, it's smelling good, not nice. Yeah.
I'm just.
Okay, right.
It's the only way to keep the sound off is from the.
Okay, that's delayed too. All right, so yeah, so this is an interesting trip for me, because the last time I was here was 2016, and I gave the story about when I went to the Moroccan restaurant, and the Moroccan waiter said, with that you could change anything you want on the menu, and I explained it wasn't a hat. He says, no, I know I'm from Morocco, and I said I'm from Maghreb, and he said, okay, Makaba, and then he walked away, and then he came back, and I was like, do you know I mean in North America? He said, yes, I know, and walked away. So that was the first acknowledgement. then I didn't really have any others on that trip. Then I told the one about, well, everybody saw the video of me and Bashar. I was talking with Bashar. Islam Reggie. With Bashar. And he said, like, he knew North America's and people be using that, like, I should have watermarked the Canaanland Morse because people be using that. They cut out the Canaanland Morse part at the front. And then there was the experience at Charles de Gaulle airport in Paris, going through in this, I told the airport security asked me about the Fez, and I said, I'm a Gebelasi, and he said, okay, like, I understand. He was from Morocco, so he knew. So there's those three instances, right? But then on this trip, just us being here, we came across so many Moroccans, and not even elderly, just around our age or whatnot, and they knew. They knew, like, when we said, I'm a Gebelasi, okay. And it's interesting because when, like, they ask us about it, and they see, like, where are you from? We say, Al Maghreb Al Aqsa. And some of them, they'll question it just to, you can tell they're questioning it just to see. And then when we break it down, then they're like, okay, yes. And then they're like, nice to meet you and everything like that. And when we went to the tea shop, so who's the first person?
Islam video. Islam version.
Ah. Small island. When we went to, I think the tea shop was the first place, right? Well, anyway, I went to the tea shop, and you know, he also Moroccan. He asked about it, and this is one of the positives about having your nationality card with your fez on. So I pull out, and I have other ID too. So I pulled out. I said, like, it's real. It's not. We're not just wearing it. So, like, here's my nationality card. Here's my medical card. Here's this card. Here's that card. And every single one has my fez on. Like, you know. And when I put, he said, oh, like, when I was showing it to him, he said, like, he believed. He said, like, yeah, like, I know it's real. I know it's real. Based on the, I think, based on the fact that I said Al Maghreb Al Aqsa first, but then I said, like, look, it's nothing fake. Like, we're not just. You know, and yeah, they hooked us up in the tea shop. I said, we're gonna come back tomorrow to buy some more tea, because at that point, Aseniah wasn't here yet. It was just me and Presca. See, there's Empress, and now she's Empresca because we're in Spain, right? So if we go to Italy, it'll be what is it? Empresa.
You just made
Empresa. Right? Empresa is Italian, and Presca is, you know,
no,
Spanish.
there's no F-on to corroborate what he said.
Right? So, Leah. So, yeah, so yeah, he hooked us up at the tea shop.
We said piece together again.
Yeah, salam nu.
Salam nu, yes.
So yeah, so Yunus at the tea shop, Yunus at the tea shop. Then at the, oh, this was interesting too. When we went to get falafels the first night, and this is when Aseniah, you weren't here yet.
When you first got the falafels? No.
Right, when the guys asked, are we Moorish, right?
Where?
At the falafel place. Remember when
yes,
because
he's like a student.
Right?
Yeah.
So we went there and we're talking with the falafel guy, and he asked us about it. We said, I'm not gonna have it. He said, okay. And then a guy came up behind us, and what I normally get a lot is they always ask Sudan. I'm like, no. Right? And then he said, where are you from? I said, I'm a Rebel. Oh, are you Moorish? I said, yeah. Or did he ask first?
I asked, because first he said Sudan,
Yeah, and I said no.
and then he said, "Oh, you're from North America."
Yeah, I think from my accent or something.
Yeah, and so he's like, "Well, I want to follow you." He said, "I want to keep in touch with you. I want to learn about what's happening with your culture." And so we gave him our Instagram, and that was the first interaction, and it was immediate. And we just had like, how many today? 3?
3 today.
There was a guy at the fountain washing some shoes, some trainers. We walked past and just shokran. And we said, no, he said, Assalamu alaikum.
Yeah.
Salam. And he goes, where are you from? And I responded, I'm Maghreb Al-Aqsa. And he goes, And he goes, North America.
Yeah.
He said, yeah. And he said, I think he said that he's been to Maghreb Al-Aqsa.
Yeah.
He was actually speaking in Arabic.
Yeah.
So a little bit was lost on me. But as I was saying at the beginning of the live, well done, Morris. Like, the work that we're all doing collectively is changing the narrative. And it doesn't always feel that way in real time. Like, you don't know what it is that you do sometimes. When we were having the conversation before I arrived, in terms of when you're just in habit being yourself, you don't know how much credibility and credence you give to yourself, but more importantly, how much credence you give to others. Because once we're in our proper position, it allows everybody else to be in their proper position. And all they want to do is serve.
And have that, and just to camel back off of what he's saying, and I think 3 of us is a whole different energy. And I think me being in it, and we had an interaction with one of the brothers at the falafel place. It's just the energy, and sometimes you don't understand what's happening, but like it's a process. And so when we get frustrated, when Cujo is chopping off the heads of these dirty Moors, and she does so well, when we have the frustration and we don't think that we see growth, we don't think that we see movement, but their world is watching. In particular, this part where we see West Africa, North Africa, like the paradigm of shift of consciousness is a global thing. And they continue to look at North America. Those of you familiar with Bobby Hemmings, he talks about consciousness. He talks about this idea of, or even Noble Duality, the idea of uplifting humanity. We have a responsibility. So people are watching. People are seeing. They're seeing more and more come. They're having conversations. So this is what this is. This is the interaction. This is doing the work that we talk about, like how everybody has their way of finding to contribute. So having a conversation in 2 days, one night, at least 10 people, and even if the interaction was a little awkward or they kind of didn't get it, oh, I understand. Oh, you mean the Morocco as the United States. Today, the guy said this at the shop.
Yeah.
So it's like, we're like, man, we got to have a phone ready. We got to be ready, like just to be, for people to have the verification. So because we know we don't learn by being told. And that's why we say, go out and travel, go out and do what you do, inhabit. I've had things happen, inhabit, not inhabit. So like when you are being yourself, when Noble Duality, the prophet says, just be yourself. And what's your appellation, or what's your name? Or when people have these conversations, that's a cute hat, or that's a cool hat. No, it's a tarbouche, it's a fez. How old is it? You know what I'm saying? Like we have these conversations because that's why it's important to do your study. So we know that it's working. We can see that the work that all of us have contributed for in some way has made it across here. And these people are from Morocco, Algeria, Tunis. Like they're from all over the place. And they're students, some of them are business people. Like, so when the consciousness of these are conversations, like with each person that we had, guess who we saw today? We saw these ones walking around the fences. Oh my God, it's a great conversation.
People stalking us, taking videos.
And those any Moors have ever been to China know that when you go over there, they try to take pictures of you, or they try to be like really creepy with it. It's definitely a fascination, and for some people, they don't know, unfortunately, how to be inquisitive without being a little uncomfortable. So that's a part of our process, right? So I just wanted to share that it's work, it's happening. We are in literally 2 days and one night, we've had almost 10 conversations with people, and everybody knows that Maghreb Al-Aqsa is the farthest west.
Yeah.
We were in And even those that don't think that they know something. For example, the Empress and Brother Sheldon talk about positive interaction. There's two sides, the duality, right? There's also negative interaction, but it's negative in terms of, I'm using the word commentatively, right? But it's still positive because it still pushes a message forward, and it's still part of the work, as Empress was saying. So we were in the church today, two separate interactions, two occidentals. One, we went into essentially the adept chamber, the adept ritual chamber of kind of like the Jesuits, who were the Jesuit church. And you had to kind of go, for those who are aware, and those who've had been privileged enough to be exposed to an adept chamber or actually go into higher mysteries in any form of mystery system, the Holy of Holies is always in the back somewhere. Like, so we had to go into the sacristy in order to find this. We had to go past the toilets. It was very, very hidden. But getting to this room where you start seeing a reduction in Moorish regalia, a reduction in Moorish symbolism, and you get right to the back and you get to a ritual room.
Oh my God.
And we got into this room, and immediately got into this room, we all looked at each other because we could see it. There was a table in the middle of it, which was really a sacrificial altar, and there was 8 mirrors
like on the side of the room,
and with chairs. So we were like, whatever they do, Empress is going to try and get a picture. We didn't know what they would do, and we were in there, and Empress said about us 3 being together, right? We were the only ones in every single location not listening to the audio guide. Not because we were arrogant, and it's not because we couldn't speak Spanish. We could have figured it out, modeled it out, right?
And they had it in English too.
And they had it in English as well. We didn't need to, because we only had enough of a rich cultural base frame of reference and a cultural basis that we were able to go there and pick up the narrative through the symbolism and also add our own narrative. So most of the time, as we always say, and I'm sure Moors, when you go out to places and you start dropping knowledge, everybody starts earwigging and they're listening, and something perturbs their soul. Something makes them like something rattles their ancestors. Something rattles their ancestors. They have to do something. So in like we were in there for at least we were in the church for at least 3 hours. Now we were in this sacrificial Jesuit chamber, the death chamber, for the better part of, let's say, 45 minutes to an hour. Now, that long? Yeah, because we were there for a little piece.
You were like, so you can't take pictures or photos, be respectful.
Now, we had gone, there'd been 2 or 3 groups that come in, everybody was taking pictures and photos. Now,
we didn't even go say, like, keep moving.
Like, and they don't really enforce it, right? There's signs up and so on and so forth,
yeah,
but they don't really care about it, right? So we've obviously been respectful. We switched the photography off. We are more of travel. Like it's not the first museum we've been to. Like we do appreciate the protection of these cultural heritage. And this random,
okay, 6-year-olds doing it, right?
This random modern European out of nowhere after she finished looking at it, and it wasn't the first picture I'd taken, by the way. She randomly turned around and said that like, no, you're not supposed to take photos or videos in here. And at first I paused because I wasn't quite sure what it was that we were discussing. And the only response I had for her was like I don't work for you, basically. It's very much, and I say this to say, that was one interaction, but you have those individuals that they are so used to dealing with either NBCs or Moors and Asiatics not in their proper person, that diminish their capacity to the point that when they're challenged or checked by an Occidental or someone that isn't in their proper person, they have no recourse, they have no answer, they have no rebuttal. And I think that it's quite refreshing for everybody when you do come across Moors in their proper person that know how to stand on their square, not even in a malicious manner. It's just who and what we are. And then when we came out of the sacrificial chamber of the Jesuits, we were then in the open cathedral, again, just dropping knowledge, just bouncing off of each other. And there was another Occidental to the right-hand side of us, and just, you know when you can see a child wants to engage in something, but they don't know how? Like if you've ever done hopscotch, and someone's or double dutch and someone doesn't know how to jump in, right? They're always waiting. They're always waiting, right? They're waiting for the invitation. And I can't remember what it was. I think it was either I or maybe Empress opened up a conversation, and he inserted himself into the conversation and started speaking about the technology in terms of, we don't even have, which is funny enough, something that Brother Sheldon and I were speaking about throughout the day in terms of, with all the advancements that we have in quote-unquote modern day technology today, we can't recreate these things. So he was, the Occidental was mentioning something like, oh, they did all of this without technology, and we kind of corrected him, like, this is a technology. You're looking at a technology. And it was kind of like, we got into a conversation. It was very high level, and I'm saying all this to say, and I'll bring this to a conclusion. Whether you're having what you deem to be a positive experience or negative experience, it's all there for us in terms of that growth and that friction that's required in order to move things forward. Whether you realize it's happening, we moved so much energy today, it was unbelievable. We walked in, we were in churches, we were in cathedrals, and when we finished doing it, when we kind of finally sat down and went to that quiet garden, that tranquil place, right? You feel the presence.
There she
you feel
is.
the spirit. There she is.
There she is.
Right?
We got you.
And you look at it, for those who say, look at all the symbolism, the checkerboard floor, the mirrors. And I'm not sure if Emperor's Cat got it in this photo, you can see it. There's an altar in the middle of it. There's a pew in front of it that's looking towards
With Christ on
Christos, right?
Yeah, who's on the cross, and then below that is Mary.
Oh, let me show the video. So here's the video. Oh, y'all can see a little bit of the video. It's a little.
So what Empress is showing in the video, just take a look at that. And for us that know in terms of understanding the power of mirrors and understanding the reflection, and if you want to double the power of a spell, you get a mirror, because obviously it's a reflection of the energy. We obviously know
It goes
that
into portal too, and mirrors are all portals and everything.
right? They're multi-dimensional portals. Also, we look at the Masonic symbology that we left, or the Masonic allegory that we left for our descendants and the Occidentals. You can't go to a monument, for any monument around the world, for a municipal building that's built by a mason or maintained by a mason, should we say, and not find a large body of water somewhere close to it.
Let me cut your wisdom. You can see. Let me go back. Here, this is like an altar, like that. Whoever, there's someone that's praying toward Christos, and then the altar is behind. So the second church we went to, like this other, it was probably the third church of the day. They had the altar, but it also was something that contained blood or a liquid underneath. So like, so we're talking about, like, you can see that there's these entities, this energy that's being hijacked. Like you can see that and know that all of our cultures have some type of doll or something that represents this life force or this energy.
And the symbol of the woman was in both of those sacrificial places.
The black.
Yeah.
Black,
Oh, you may show her?
But not the black because it's something like Lamborghini, but it was essentially.
It was like a black witch, and she was in the.
The black witch. You black witch!
Blake is in Blake, a Blake witch.
Yeah.
More said she was a black witch.
She's a Blake witch.
Like it was. So it was because it was three.
This is the place that had the well, I don't know. This can't be the drink from, but maybe it is.
Where we collect the blood.
This is the second place, the sacrista. So this is the altar. It's not as ornate as the cathedral. So the first one that we showed you was the Granada Cathedral. This is just some smaller basilica somewhere else.
That place was so peaceful, so tranquil.
Yeah.
There was a spirit of peace that was in that second place that it was
like the first yard, the first entrance that we went into was just peaceful, and then when we went into the first part of the cathedral, it was just tranquil. Yeah.
And this is here. Look at this eagle inside the triangle with the candles, eating its own flesh.
And for those familiar with mythology, there's a Norse mythology that's quite closely connected to Norse mythology in terms of the bird eating itself in order to nourish its young. So, not to cut him.
Oh, there she is.
You got a good view?
This is one of her.
Yeah,
that's not the one.
That's not the one.
You want the older one?
The one.
That's the good one. That's the one with 7 swords.
Oh yeah, that's the little
one.
Yeah, the older one.
And it's got the
AM.
The AM above her head, right? And
so many churches today. I just wanted to just show that part, but I'm going to do this and then let us go back to the.
That was crazy.
This is a lot of photos.
And looking at.
Oh, hold on. If you see this man in Granada, kick him in the cojones.
See, and just to come back off what he was saying, to the positive, negative reactions, we had this man following around the city, taking videos of us.
Sneak videos and all that. I was like, yo.
And we're like, we took a video because we're like, there's no way you're going to be lining anyone up abroad. That's not happening. But it's the idea of he doesn't know why he's doing it. They don't know why he's doing it. For those of you on the live that have children, you know when your child's being petulant or in a tantrum and they don't know why they're acting out, and you just stop and look at them. You just give them a moment. And that shuts everything down, because then it allows them that pause, sudden pause, right? What am I doing? And I'd say, if anything else, we've had a lot of parent energy. We're just looking at people like, who raised you? Like,
oh my gosh,
what's going on here? Like, and once I start to realize that, like, it's like,
here we go.
When you're not used to being checked, and I always say this in terms of general interactions with people. Whether
this
it's,
one.
Yeah,
that's the one.
And just before everyone shows the picture, when you're interacting with people, it usually
that's a creepy picture, man.
People will treat you how you allow them to treat you.
Yeah,
so
that's true.
If you show someone your standard and your presence and what it is that you stand for, and they violate it, then obviously there's recourse from that. If you show someone your standards, from the offset and what you're not going to accept, you usually tend to find that they act on that. So I give thanks to that, and I'll hand over to Empress so she can show this image. And the reason why this image was really interesting, because we were looking at this. This was clearly a Jesuit church. And I know you're gonna go through the comment.
I don't know what this man doing.
No, well, the thing is, because
that's the old feed. Yeah.
So we were. So that's what I was going to say. When we were in these churches, and obviously Moors, those who are in the knowledge of esoteric knowledge, we know the parallels between not Yahshua. We know the parallels between Jesus and Lucifer and Yahweh. We know all of that. And if you've ever had the privilege of watching Bobby Hemming, the question that he asked was like, what if the God that you're worshiping could be the devil, right? Great lecture, go back and watch it. But we say all this to say in terms of, you could see the prominence of Lucifer in these churches. Now,
So hold on, but let's do, because they're using her to invoke.
Exactly. So you were able to see that in the church, you were able to see, so in the cathedral, you were able to see the story and the allegory of it. You were able to see the Moorish dynasty in terms of what we put in place, and in terms of the mother and the son. You were able to see essentially the schism, as it were, in terms of also kind of like a fall. You were able to see the split, and we actually even.
I got another one. Let's stick here. You want to go ahead?
You want to show the picture one time?
I'm going to show this, and then we'll go back to the lady.
We also able to see how
just because
took over the church, right? And you were able to see how Lucifer switched from the male androgyny and into the more androgynous form in terms of Michael. There's even a picture with Lucifer standing in a feminine form, wings in hand.
Oh yeah.
and also another wings in the left hand, and in the right hand was a pair of eyes. In terms of also like the eyes.
No, it's the other way around. Wings were in the right hand. Oh, and the eyes were in the left hand. Yeah.
Okay. All right, let me go to that. Since
it's like an eyes. Also, if you have eyes to see and ears to hear, kind of thing, right? But we were then able to see the symbolism everywhere. Well, how were we able to notice it? There was everybody knows the crook, kind of like the Shiro crook, right? And they had this circle perfectly placed on top of the long Shiro crook, right?
I'm gonna cut his wisdom just so that we can show you, so you can see it in real time, and we can bring back. So when we're looking here, we see that this is obviously somebody that's bound, that's supposed to be free. Now, for those of you that have had metaphysical studies, and we always say it's good to get into some of the more rudimentary books, but you need to elevate your studies, right? This is degrees, and we're claiming that we're more, so we have to get beyond the obvious, Captain Obvious, right? So when we're looking at art, so we have to have people that have disciplines and specific traits in all different disciplines. We just can't have people just talking out the side of their mouth. We got to have expertise. We got to be able to have the tools to bring information down. So the last church we were at, when I came in, everything in the church is a picture. And I just said, well, the people here obviously couldn't read. And the archbishop wanted to make sure every inch of the basilica was covered. And then the Hindustani sister was like, oh, did you not use the audio guide? I was like, no, I just intuitively figured that they couldn't read it, so they could just look at the images. So when we're talking about the iconographic images, right? So we're talking about the idea of taking something divine and putting it in a human form. The last countries that I've been visiting, they all said the Reconquista was possible because of imagery. That's why it is important. So when you hear more say, oh, it doesn't matter what Yeshua or Isa looks like. Yes, it does. This is how they took control. And we're going to go back to show you an image of them with a Moor's head decapitated and showing how they had to use that. All right. So this is supposed to be someone that's in the etheric realm doing work, right? Noble Drelly talks about, I can do more work on the soul plane, right? So they have this energy in bondage.
And the interesting thing about it is,
here's the eyes.
Like each section has, what you have to realize is each section is a story. And so she's showing that individual image of the Christ bound, but there's an entire story of the whole thing. So to see it together, you comprehend what they're trying to say, or what they're saying, really.
Let me go to the galleries.
See if I can scroll up.
All right. That's easier to do it this way.
And apologies, Mose. We're trying to get to your messages and comments and so on and so forth. If you have any questions, by all means, please.
Because IG doesn't allow you to do landscape, because if we could landscape, we would sit closer and I'd be able to scroll. But yeah, this
okay. So let's just start here. We're gonna do this. We might as well just keep making narrative and
audio plus the visual.
Okay, that's the
Raquel,
so while
Sarouche.
This is the Asiatic at the top of this altar. So when you're looking at the symbolism, and get books on religious symbolism, we have to be able to break stuff down, and it's actually not very difficult. Like those of you that do your studies, you're able to start to see things, and every time we talk, we're just using things that make common sense. So they're going to use the energy of mother, and we're going to go back to that dark energy and how they're the finesse. Like you thinking that lecture, if you have not watched that lecture at least 5 times, and you got 5 notebooks and you paused and like downloaded the video of Bobby Hemming talking about what if the God that you worship is Satan, you need to watch it. Okay, so we always have the truth and falsehood strangely mixed. So you're going to see something that's Asiatic, you're going to see something that's a Moor, in order for them to pull this ritual or this finesse off, right?
My Empress is finding that. Get those books? Because if you can't recognize symbolism, you lost half the battle.
So you can see that the cameo of him is at the top. In the center is this image of this Miriam. It looks like it's Miriam, right? I'm a just go in a little bit. You can see there's a lot of death in these chapels. These are death cults.
My gosh, it's crazy.
Now remember, the high priest of Anu, that's a part of us, right? So when you're talking about the idea of the meanings and the idea of transitioning between different worlds and different realities, like death and rebirth, right? So we have to be able to stop being afraid. We can't be spooky. We got to be able to break it down. So you can see that there's a lot of images, like there's a lot of triangles. There's a lot of things here. Now, let me show you another image. So this is a closer image of her. And you can see she has a lot going on. She got the gangster-ling with the cross. We have the trident. We have a lot of Vesica Pisces. We have a lot of six-pointed stars. We have a lot of double crosses. And you also notice that the heart has 7 swords.
Yeah.
4 on the left, 3 on the right. That's interesting. Y'all seen Indiana Jones when they pull that heart out that man?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's still using the power, right? To take on twists beyond us. You bring up the Moore's head one.
I'm trying to find.
Or the woman. Are you gonna go back to the woman with the sack? The room with the.
Oh, this is the one. Is this the one with the? Okay, that's a more on that side. Is that okay? That's,
okay, we reached the end. Okay, that's the end of it. Right.
Okay, here it is. Let me put the heart on this one. This is so right. You have this conqueror here, this conquistador. He has a sword, and there's a sword in his left hand, right? Mm-hmm. He has the world, the orb in his right hand. And you can see, look at the head.
No, the sword is in his right hand, the orb was in his left hand. This is the one with the foot near the Moor's head.
Oh yeah, I'm looking at it backwards.
Yeah.
So either way, you see that he has the earth represented.
With the cross on it in his left hand. So he's receiving the earth. Because the earth that has a cross.
Rulership. So
yeah.
it's dominion.
Yeah.
So remember, we're talking about now those of you that have seen older iconography, in particular like George, they are stomping on the chest or they're stomping on the head of who they're conquering. So sometimes it's a dragon, sometimes it's a person, sometimes it's a moon, you don't know, right? So you can see that in order for them to conquer, they have to use the sword. But who is the authority? You see that the foot is behind the Moor's head. The Moor has been decapitated. You're denationalized. So when we're talking about, I'll do your wave for you. So when we're talking about like the symbolism, people go to this place in so-called worship every Sunday. And I don't even know if they notice. So what we're asking you to do is to please travel. And we did throw shade and say real traveling Moors because we know Moors have been traveling since time immemorial. It can't be just one of anything. And again, this is not our information to sell or to get Cash App donations from. This is your culture and you have to be stewards of the culture.
And to add to what you're saying, that entire, if you want to say mosaic, was sitting on 2
lions.
2 lines, but 2, what's the word I'm looking for? Subdued. Two subdued lines in the corner, and they were like, and they're holding up this entire mosaic. So that in itself is more symbolism.
Here are the lions.
Oh yeah, you got them too. Yeah.
So there's another image a little further down telling a story where here the lions are strong. In another image, the lions are cowardly. They're weak. And I'm going to show you the bacchanal, show you the evil that people don't know. Like that lady had the nerve to have an attitude. They got this in the church where this man, perhaps some type of priest, has pulled up his leg.
He's cocking that up, right?
What type? Like, we want to know how many brethren is walking around pulling up their thigh. And that's the first image. Like, it's a trinity. Like, what is this?
Yeah.
What kind of seduction? And it's making it like it's a game. Like, that looks like some kind of like pig playing with something, and then this looks like some kind of toy. Like, so what we're saying to you is these people are not playing with our culture. They have to show us homage. This is part and parcel of that. Not part and partial, part and parcel. So when we're looking like, what is that? Look, I just want, let me zoom in a little closer for you to see that pink leg.
Haram.
This is in the church.
In the church.
And we talk about seduction in your children, like this is not a game. They're using symbolism, and that's why it's so important for people to see us together, traveling, talking, learning, going to museums, going to concerts, reclaiming what is ours. And it's not ego. We're not making anybody feel bad. It just is what it is.
Everything is symbolism.
You have
Everything.
Oh, I want to show the one. I'm going to show you with the eyes.
Okay. Yeah. Everything is symbolism. Everything is story.
And then we got to go back to the Satan.
Literally every single detail that you see in there
Who's got mod team?
is storytelling and symbolism at the highest.
It was a mod team.
Huh?
We got mod team. Cool
It was
job.
a
Mod team. We talk about eyes to see. Y'all got eyes to see. You got ears to hear. You see the eyes. Remember they talk about you a steak on a platter.
Receiving eyes.
Can you see?
He's receiving eyes because the eyes are not, so he's receiving the eye. But how is he holding it though? No, I think this. And then he has
Was that the image of Lucifer? Or was that the Michael one?
Okay, it's literally.
So this is the wings.
Yeah,
right.
So
Those, yeah, that's
because it's almost like,
So they're putting together the show.
right? So if
the
you
wings.
see,
The wings are in the right hand.
that's what I was talking about earlier on in terms of the androgynous.
These are the wings right here.
So they've turned Lucifer into the female. So they're presenting Lucifer as if she's mother now. Or as if it's
Or
mother
you'll
now.
see her as Isa or Yeshua. Like, it's very interesting. But can you see it?
And the Empress is going to show you in a minute after we go through it in terms of how you can start picking these things out. Because someone might come and say, okay, cool. How can I tell the difference between Yeshua and when I'm looking at Lucifer?
And we're gonna show you. So this is the image of them all together. So if it's overwhelming, like we were in there for a long time, y'all. So that's some of y'all that's doing some dirty stuff in the dark. Like, I don't know what that is.
Don't forget to show them the woman in the woman that was in the two sacrificial rooms of two different cathedrals, and then she first appeared in one of the mosaics that was very dark.
And then look at the Moor with his soft Liberty cap on. He was like, I'm just out here trying to do my mufti business. And look what happened to me. And they cut my damn head off. Right.
It's not only in the right foot. It's the right foot that's next to his head.
So he's taking
Go! Disrespect. I'll show you good.
But like, if you
Let me get back to the woman.
Why you find it? So Empress is going to bring up. So
Oh, here it is.
yeah.
Oh yeah, with the lamb.
Show
the other one?
Show the woman first, and then we'll go into that because then we get go into allegory and how you start noticing the symbolism. But so as you saw in terms of when everything. So what's talking about the story? What Sheldon was speaking
Should
about.
we just go here first?
Yeah, let's go there. Why? It's because
This is the
we bounce off each other. We all have different backgrounds, but so now I first spotted the Lucifer thing, and do you know how I noticed it? I looked at the crook and the Chiron, but also look at the color and symbolism. Lucifer's always represented wearing red. Always. Now,
root chakra, base, easy, desire, lust, it's
right?
easy.
Now, look at the crook he's holding, though. There's a serpent on the top of the majority of the pictures.
It's hard to see it here, but I'll give you another one that's better. It's right up here.
Right? And the way they position it in the almost in the position of the Shiro, like the snake is mounted upon the staff, right? Mounted upon the crook. And look at the positioning of where Lucifer is, right? You can see the
and it's over the land.
It's over the land as well, right? And you see the central figure, what is actually representing the Yeshua energy in the center, which is the red and the blue, right? Being of the Father, the two polarities, right? The blue and the red in terms of the mixing, also like it being of the spiritual and of the physical, right? And then you have, I think, on the left-hand side, which is supposed to represent the ethereal. But it's also, the thing that we kind of noticed, when we actually essentially had our codex, right? That was part, we added that to our codex. Now, every single place that we then went, Lucifer, Lucifer, Lucifer. Now, every single now show you, when you amalgamate everything and you then say, okay, cool, what am I looking at? I'm worshiping Mother. Whose mother are you worshiping?
Yeah.
Mother of the Lord.
Look at
Whose mother are you worshiping? Because if you're worshiping this, I don't think that's La Morena, my friend.
And so she appeared, we saw her first in this darker mosaic, and then she appeared in two sacrificial rooms in two different cathedrals, right? And so it's not to say that she's in one and she appeared in different rooms, two different
She's
ones.
everywhere. Where they're doing it in the sacristy, she's everywhere.
And look at those cherubim, they're small demons, but also they usually represent her, and we found it really weird. Sometimes they don't represent her like this. They try and represent her as Mary. Do you know what undermines that Mary symbolism imagery? If Mary's the mother, they usually depict this deity standing on the head of three children.
Oh yeah.
Right? So the Trinity again, right? The Trinity, it's almost like a Trinity of innocence. So it's asking the question in terms of, and again, she's standing for what looks like innocence there, but then you see these cherubs or these smaller deities, they hold them onto their tails, it seems, right? So who are you worshipping?
And you can see that we have the Hathor. We have, so whether it's a moon or it's horns, in order to do the dark, I gotta still attach the light. Like you still have to be able to see, oh, that's Mother, that's Hathor, like on the positive, and then if she turns, she gets Sekhmet, right? So we're looking here, like this is death cult. And they have to use your signs and symbols in order to activate. And they don't use the male, they use the female. And let me go back to that image, because you can see that the church and this Satan or whoever it is, they're working together to make her the idol. Like they're putting the crown on her head or his head, right? Let me go back to that one.
And to Emma's point, Emma didn't make a mistake there, her or his. Because the whole idea of androgyny, right, in terms of, we would look, Brother Sheldon and I were looking at a picture of what seemed to be Esau, and Brother Sheldon was like, that looks way too feminine to be Esau. And we were looking at it like, but we know Esau to be a feminine energy that connects to Isis as well, right? So when they're trying to represent the androgyny, should we say, right, you have to know what it is that you're looking at. Otherwise, they'll be representing this dark entity as Mary, which is technically the Whore of Babylon, which is technically what they're worshipping, right? Which is, if you know how to work with the energy, there's no such thing as good or bad, right? But if you're, like for example, we went into the chapel and I wasn't even able to see something in terms of which was clear phallic worship, but in sort of like a pedophilic sort of, and I didn't even see it. It was the eyes of the designer that Brother Sheldon.
Look, those are the eyes. Like that's like, look at that, y'all. This isn't a joke. Like that's video of these eyes.
It's like they follow you.
Like they're like, have you ever seen John the Baptist when whatchamacall requested that his head be delivered on a platter? Like they have eyes on here for you to be able to see. Like this is taken out of somebody's head. Like you can see there's like blood there.
And we were in there, And funny enough, we're speaking to you about the least grand part of this cathedral, by the way. And you're like this, what do you mean the least grand part? Because the pageantry is always on the outside, right? You always leave what's on the outside, the aesthetic, for those for the lower degrees, right? So, and it was the chapel was shaped, sorry, the cathedral was shaped in such a way in terms of it had on the outer rim, in terms of you walked around it and it was numbered 10 pillars, 10 columns. So you can imagine for those who have ever been on a Hajj or a spiritual journey, there is always some form of ritual that must be practiced once you get to a spiritual site. So we would imagine that those of the peasant class or those who weren't that highly adept, they would have walked around a couple of times or once, and that would have been their evolution, or that would have been a ritual, and the priest would have been, thank you very much more. But once you move a little bit closer, there's a second ring, a higher degree, where once you get to here, there it's kind of like you look at it different. The church was split off in certain sort of different ways. Like, so it was like to the west, there was like this grand door, and we were like, what were they summoning in here? Because this door was way too big for anybody any humanoid, should we say, to have passed through. But also, it was way too grand. Like, the latch was 20 feet high or something. It was way too tall for you to be able to engage with it for a humanoid of today's thinking, right? And what are we saying with this, right? We were looking at technology. We found this sort of looking glass, sort of.
But I'm gonna cut this real quick. So when we're going back to this image, at the top we see a lot of tools. We see a ladder.
It's not on the.
Oh, it's not. I apologize. We see that the heart has the 7 swords at the top. We have her here. Let me get it smaller.
There were so many. Sorry, let's do that real quick. All right.
So we have that at the top, and then we have some tools here.
For those who are familiar, they are the working tools.
So we have, well, tools of the workshop of the mind, but you know, so what we have up here, like, let me zoom in just a little so you can see. You have the sun, you have obviously operative mason tools here. We have, I know it's a ladder. What is it?
Well, that's the one with Jacob's ladder.
Yeah, Jacob's ladder, and then it's not zooming in. Like, just so, like, the men of the craft, like, they have definitely left their stamp on the Granada cathedral. Like, they have left no stone unturned from the outside, even though it's new, to the inside, that this is their dominion, right? And so this is all here. So when you hear Mother Roz talked about this, I can't think of how she describes it, but these are signs and symbols. And again, it doesn't take a lot for you to be able to figure out, like, oh, wow, these are the tools that we used to use, right? So we have to make sure we not get spooky. We have the time and space to find these places, and we share it so you guys understand. I always wondered why medieval Renaissance art gave me negative vibe. Well, this is something different. Renaissance is rebirth. You have to have a culture in order for it to be reborn again. Right? This is not there. This is just using it. They're using her. Like, let me go back to the false crowning, right? So whoever you're worshiping is not the real ones. Like, people, no offense, we talk about the flock being split, right? Scattering of the flock. Like, so if it's a reincarnated prophet, that's not what Noble Duality can't be reincarnated just after he passed away, right?
And the Hacksword symbol. But what the knowledge that we kind of think we've got for that,
Right.
The schism, the split, right? You're gonna go into that one?
No, I was gonna go into those monuments, or the almost the crosses.
This or something else?
No, the cross with the like
The looking
glass, with the looking glass in the middle.
Like Black Mirror.
Oh, yeah.
Those clearly are portals. We saw what, two or three of them.
This is the place. This is the place.
You could be a charlatan with this info.
And here she is again. Here she is again in another church here.
That's the dark one.
Yeah.
Yeah, she
She was, and everywhere you went, it was just a different energy.
After what we saw today, no one can ever tell me that. Okay, obviously you know that in the Bible, Psalms is pretty much all spells. No one can ever tell me that.
These are some of the symbols from this cathedral.
Wait till more come in. You know, wait till more come in.
It's nine people. We had 3 people for like 30 minutes.
And then 23.
Right.
Before we knew it.
It's like, come on, man, look at this.
Right? But if you remember, that was similar to the church in Nuremberg, right?
Yes.
Remember, that's what my display picture still is on my Telegram, right? And so you were talking about the
This is when a more gets excited. I'm in front of a giant wall.
But even like this, the grand cultural symbolism. We saw Tekkens everywhere. We saw large doors everywhere, right? And we saw the orb everywhere, right? The orb.
Oh, let me go back to the other door.
Like,
tell me who's unlocking that? Who getting up there?
Who's climbing?
Shaq can't even touch that. Who doing that?
Right?
Who doing that? Who get up there and unlock that? Tell me.
And do you know when you're going in, and pageantry has been one of the things that like I have, it's been one of the words that has been so apt for me, like for the past couple of like months, weeks. And I say this to say, sort of like, when you are, even like there was children playing in the cathedral, like, do you know when something isn't of you and you don't know how to connect with it? You don't know how to act properly. What do I mean by that? You don't know how to critically think. So we would just randomly, like how our process is when we work together. I think the reason why we bounce off each other so well, we're together, but we all look at things differently. So sometimes Empress will wander off, I'll wander off, Brother Sheldon, and we'll come back together and we'll have so much to tell each other. But sometimes we just stand there and look at something and we ask a simple question, like when looking at the door. Who was able to unlock that? So it's either proving the existence of giants, right? And going along like that Fomorian line and so on and so forth, which we know.
Look at that door.
Or
look at that door.
It was for a culture of people that aren't presently here, because it doesn't even make sense that we have a door to our apartment that is huge. Brother Sheldon goes to the gym every single day. I'm not too bad myself. It's a heavy door to lift, and that's our size, right? So I say all this to say in terms of when Empress is saying it could all be so simple. When you take away the spookiness or the spookism from a lot of this, you realize that what was the mindset of the people that put this together? And when you start thinking that, it's not beyond the stretch of imagination in terms of the fact is that we can be our ancestors reborn. Why? Because it's a mindset. We're linking back to the thought process that we used to have. We were looking at the Alhambra from the horrible side yesterday, right? From the crap side. But we were even exploring and looking at it. This is, and I've never been to Granada before. Like, I've had the privilege of traveling again with my brothers and sisters that have been and are very widely traveled, right? But if you see the streets, you see how they how they throw trash, you can tell this is not their home. It's almost like they're visiting for a long time. Even how they drive on these streets, and so like, for any of those who've ever been to Granada, the streets are not suitable for driving for modern day vehicles. You can barely get mopeds and things like down these streets. Now, if you have the engineering genius and this was of you, when the city no longer fit the purpose of the people that live there, wouldn't you use the engineering or the ingenuity of your engineering to change the structure of that city to make it more conducive for modern times? They've been unable to do so.
Okay, so we're going to show you this. There was a bunch of these. Now you see that that detailed, what do we call it? Structure.
This is a machine.
It's a machine. Now you see that there's that glass in the middle. That's got to be a portal of some sort. It has to be, because
I find a black mirror projector. because you can imagine it projected onto something, right? So you power it, you summon the entity or whatever it is that you're trying to look through the viewing glass, and you can project it onto something.
Theory one.
Something was coming up through that.
Surely.
And look at it at the bottom in terms of you'd have to either. So do you remember when they often used to say that what were churches? They were resonance centers, right? They were places of healing. How did they do the healing, right? They would put mercury and other forms and substances that we've lost the knowledge for in these machines, and they would resonate.
Yeah, there's a
and then how would they then? And Emperor's going to show another. How would they then disperse that energy through harmonics, right? So really and truly, we're looking at harmonic convergence machines.
So you're thinking this is harmonics?
No. The organ would be the harmonics, right?
Yeah,
So the energy, they would use it, and they'd use the harmonics to amplify the energy, right, and disperse it.
Yeah.
And let me just camel back, try to cut your wisdom. When you think about, when those of you that are into like the Ark of the Covenant, and when it's talked about being a machine, it talks about this energy that's uncontrollable, and especially for Aseniah, this is where it really is. How the priests that protect it, they don't last very long because of whatever this is. It has a power to it. So we're looking at this, and I keep looking at these. If you've been to older cathedrals, wherever they are in the world, these are extreme machines.
Yeah.
Like it's insane. And those of you that've been to Kemet or whatever, you could see like there's something about the design about this that's not quite what we would consider like a normal everyday use. This is something that is for a special purpose.
And it's built to trap the acoustics in there so that resonance stays within stays within the structure, really.
And to that point, in terms of someone pointing this
And
out,
it's supposed to carry as well.
100%. And someone pointed this out to me in terms of further giving credence to this ideal, this thought. I didn't actually realize, in terms of, someone said to me, when was the last time you heard a bell? When was the last time you heard a bell toll, right? And it was because I was looking at like Shinto Japan, because the bells get rid of demons, or the harmonic resonance, right? In terms of the fact that if you're resonating on a certain frequency, the bell is shock, right? And if it continues to shock, it shocks you out of whatever thing that you're locked into, right?
See the tassel? Go ahead, I'm sorry, brother.
Right? No, go ahead. Look at the design, like, so you have to know a thing, right? In terms of, so you've got, and that's a 3D image, by the way. This is so intricate, you have to see it in person.
Which one is that?
Yeah. Oh my, it's so interesting.
Oh my gosh, yo.
To Islam to the more that said they can't do that today. So we kept talking about, and there's articles you can Google, like literally we call it brain drain, when the different expulsions of the Moors. So you had a certain number initially, another group, and then everybody else that was over a couple of 100 years, they expelled them. Spain has not been the same. It has not been like, they lost economics, they've lost creativity, they lost leadership. We're talking about culture. So when people are kicked out, what do we have now? Who are we going to use to be able to build the culture? So when you're looking at this, and also those of you that study, probably 10 years ago, Spain put out something saying those people that can prove that they are from the Iberian Peninsula can come back and get some type of repatriation, reparations, something, because making the connection. So when we're looking at these things, we don't know what they're for, but we know it's not like, think about Snow White, mirror, mirror on the wall. She's summoning an entity to tell her, oh, what is this? So like, these people have high degrees and they're using science that we have, and they are turning, oh, you know what? Like, if y'all didn't see that image that was on the first one with the 8 mirrors and all of these figurines in the room and an altar.
And all the drawers on
safety deposit box. It looked like a bank vault.
Yeah, bank of souls. I don't know what's in it.
But something else, but it was.
Do you know how people say like the vault of the Vatican, right?
Drawers on the sides. Yeah, I don't know what was in there. But I think it's more than safety deposit boxes. All these mirrors, and there's a table. There's
here we go.
Altar table.
I'm gonna say safety
here we go.
It depends what you deem.
This is all of these boxes here. Do you see that? It's on the left and the right. This is that room where we're talking about with those mirrors.
Right. So if anybody's ever been into the vault of the bank, this is what safety deposit boxes look like. Now, to the point that Brother Sheldon just made, it depends what you deem to be valuable, right? So how do we know that these aren't essences of the souls of men, right? That are in service. Now, I was just thinking about this, right? The idea of entities, for example, mirror, mirror on the wall, I just struck a thought. What if...
There you go. Look at those boxes.
Right? What if you had to summon entities in order to commune with them in terms of like, so like you'd go into these adept chamber, their version of an adept chamber, should we say, right? And they'd be summoning
all that, yeah.
Exactly. They'd be summoning the higher order entities of their order in order to take them through their rites, if that makes sense. That's why you have the sacrificial ritual chamber in there. So it's either they were using that to commune with the entities or allowing them to soul mount on them in order to be able to do the rituals that they were doing, right?
Right.
And it could be lots of things. So it could be possession, it could be communication, it could be a combination. But the fact that they have somebody sitting in a chair facing
the Christ,
facing the person,
the image of the supposed symbol of.
I'm trying to think if I got
Christ.
that angle. But you can see there that you're kneeling down to this, and behind you can't see what's happening behind you. And this is where that altar is, and we showed you the other one where it has something that is receiving some type of liquid.
So they must really remove that from this one, right?
I think that liquid is a blood drain. That's
Well, we were like, I'm not drinking that.
It's either blood or sex, right? Because usually
it could be both, because these people are disgusting.
And actually, for those,
they probably drink it.
Do you know what? For those who've ever watched the Da Vinci Code, right? Do you remember the scene where they were doing the sex ritual underground, right? And they were literally all the hoods, they were around in a circle, right?
Right.
And it was on a table like this, and the two subjects of the ritual were engaging in coitus on the table, right? And the members of the cult were looking around before they then sacrificed the person on the table.
And there's lots of images of them hijacking energy from children. Like this is this. Let me find the one with the
amount of symbolism with using children. Propping up these people, oh my gosh, it was
or children in awkward positions,
and it wasn't cherubims, it wasn't that. It was straight up children.
Let's see if I can find that one.
And do you know what's crazy? It's juxtaposed with when you then had children running around in the cathedral. They were just running amok, like they just didn't take it seriously. Like it was very, very juxtaposed, right? If that makes sense. And yeah, it's interesting to see how symbolism pervades the psychology of
more shanty pieces,
exactly. It pervades the psychology of the people.
Satan again,
right? We've seen some weird things here, and it's weird in terms of the fact it's like you're like, don't you use your discernment, your critical reasoning? But we see the priesthood's hand, like we see.
You know what's interesting though? When I think about it, when I think about the cathedrals that we've been to in Munich. And did we go into one in Nuremberg as well?
Yeah, we went to all of them in Nuremberg.
I've never seen this type of
negative
symbolism.
Yeah.
Any of those,
even in the Jesuit churches we went into before.
Right.
Which was that? Yeah, we should do that.
Fascinating, absolutely fascinating.
Like they weren't hiding the Satanism. Actually, I'll say it's more Luciferianism. They weren't hiding the Luciferianism. Actually.
Right, yeah, like Lucy, like the light bringer, like you can see.
Yeah.
So quickly here, you can see that there was like different stories told with regards to these like negotiations before they anointed her or him, whatever that was. Like he's, like you can see here, like it's, man, I just want to say, we have burned like, I don't know how many pieces of incense today. We got some Palo Santo we go burn before we go to bed, but like it's very emotionally drained. Like it's a roller coaster because you're like, this is what it takes to keep you suppressed. The last stronghold, they have to put all of this death and destruction here, this iconography, all of this anthropomorphic stuff in order to get you to just see despair and like just, it's insane. Like this is the Cathedral of Granada. And even again, if those of you that come, please go online and look at some itineraries where you spend 3 nights or whatever. Please just start traveling. Please start going to museums, go to art shows. Like, make sure that we reclaim and be informed, because these things happen. Like, it's just been 2 days, and just off of the strength, like, you know what? Let's make sure we go to cathedral. Like, I was just like, because tomorrow's the Alhambra for us. You know what I'm saying?
And take your time when you go to these places.
Oh, you gonna need time.
Like the first cathedral, we were in there for 3 hours.
And we kept saying, we need to go for lunch.
We need to go for lunch.
We find something
We were
else.
halfway through.
Listen. We got out, we left here at what, 11:30-ish?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, we left here at 11:30. We ate at 4. 4. So we went to these different cathedrals, and we were just in there just looking at the symbolism and analyzing it and I don't want to say absorbing it, but just analyzing it and discussing it. And then 4 o'clock, like 5+ hours later or whatever, 4.5 hours later, then we decide, like, okay, we're starving now, we gotta get something to eat.
We even skipped over the first place we went to, the first cathedral we went to, right?
The one right here.
Yeah.
When we walked down?
Yeah, we walked to.
We would have never made it to anything else that day.
No. When I say we skipped the first, I don't think we discussed it. Do you know the first when we got the books, when we got the Granada? What was that again?
That was the Isabella and Ferdinand.
Yeah, the Isabella. That was the Nottingham we were talking about. Because we were. Do you know?
We don't have any images.
I think you got some. I'll try.
All what I got is of the robe.
But
All right.
we were looking at the double.
Because they were saying not to take pictures in that one, and they
were really strict in that one.
They were really strict in that one. Yeah.
So we were.
Islam. 1 second. This is an image of Asiatics in that similar room. Like, so on the left side you have this. I apologize. And then on the right hand side you see our brethren across the way. So we have East and West represented, and then show you what's in the middle. Oh, this is a little video. So you can see what they have in the middle. That's a distraction. Look at this. So you got that right there. And you got, I keep skipping past that. And you have this over here.
We did.
Oh, right.
Yeah, that was what I was going to say. This one.
Oh, the madras.
Yeah, the madras. Mm-hmm. And that was the first one, right?
Mm-hmm.
So,
the madrasa.
You showed an image before we were talking about the madrasa. So yeah, the double E. So everybody knows about, or when I say everybody, the Habsburgs.
I want to see what Cujo posted.
The Habsburgs, and obviously the connection between Ferdinand, Isabel, and the connections between Europe and the European nobility, right? In terms of how it was us, but how we felt in terms of to ourselves within nobility, should we say, right? And we were discussing the knowledge, and I don't know how the conversation started, but we were trying to say the difference between the symbolism. It was sort of like we'd always looked at it as, okay, the double eagle represented like the Holy Roman Empire and the unification, but we started again critical thinking and working like, the idea of the story, the mirror image, and we're like, maybe it doesn't represent the union of something, maybe it actually represents the schism. And we were like, what evidence do we have to show that? Because it's still one body. The eagle has one body but just 2 heads. East and West, right? So it's actually showing the splitting of the kingdom. And then we then went further down into that. If you then look at the coat of arms that make up the body, the coat of arms that make up essentially the single the coat of arms that make up the single eagle kind of insignia or crest. It gets a lot more convoluted when you get to the double-headed eagle. And we're like, oh, okay, cool. This was the empire unified, and this was the empire split. And even seeing that, going to Brother Sheldon's point earlier on about looking at the story, once you find the narrative and find the story behind something, it's very, very difficult to kind of get caught in a trick bag, because you know the basis and the substance that they kind of built everything else on. You're not actually looking at what they're presenting you. you're looking at the scene at which they're presenting it in, which then gives context to the actual scene that they're presenting.
Yeah.
So, if nothing, like, again,
I spoke on that before, speaking about when I studied design history and industrial design, and our design history teacher said, when you watch movies, he said specifically for movies, when you watch movies, don't just watch what's going on in the scene, watch what's going around it, because that adds context to the scene.
Exactly.
And so once you have that in the back of your mind, when you watch anything, you look at it with different eyes. And when I watch movies with different eyes completely. And it's the same thing when you go to these, to add to what you're saying, when you go to these, wherever you go, when you go to these cathedrals, you look at it's 100% storytelling. There's nothing haphazard in any image or any detail that you see within that scene. And it's literally a scene, and then there's a pillar or whatever space, and then there's another scene and another scene and another scene, and it goes right up to the ceiling. What's that?
This is a double ego. I was trying to find the image while you were talking to not cut your wisdom. So this is what we're talking about here.
And look at the triangle between the head. It's still showing the three, right? But there's something hidden. What caused the schism, right? It's still one body.
And so, and I just want to add this. It's on my mind to say that. So on my heart, I guess. So when we're talking about like industriousness, and for those of us that think that they might be a ruler, and because you're a Moor, you don't have to pay rent or pay to get on a bus and get a ride, or you don't have to pay a taxi because you're a Moor in your land. You shouldn't have to pay for anything. You should get it for free. We're talking about how we have to navigate and how we're having to give and to receive, right? So when we decided to proclaim and declare, break the spell, try to remove these generational curses, like we really are doing a lot of spiritual work. And hopefully you are mirroring that in your lives. So when we're talking about, these are symbols that they've had to use to suppress your culture. So like we're talking about, this is the last place. He basically handed it over. You got my son. Look, all bets are off. You got it. You got the keys. You got the whole thing. It's for you. Because you took something that was sacred from me. And now I have to be able to, you have leverage, and now I got to give in. So we're talking about, what are you giving up? How is it that you're studying? Like, what are you doing to make sure that you and your progeny and future generations, I don't know how many generations we're talking, like they're actually going to be able to be inheritors and custodians. We're talking about culture here. We got to have competent people. We got to have people that are doctors. We got to have people that are scientists. We got to have people that sing and create art. We got to have people that are diversified. We just can't have people just walking around talking out the side of their neck and not have any specific skills to build our civilization. So when we're traveling and coming together, we're doing it just because we love each other. We have a good time. We're going to eat well. Like we're going to do it up. But we want to also make sure that we reclaim. Like we want to make sure that we do this in the name of our ancestors. Like we want to make sure that we know, okay, there are Moors in North America, in Germany, at the UK. Like we're global people. And we have to remind them, the Tarbush and the Fez, it existed before Morocco.
Yeah, I had that conversation with the first guy at the falafel place, the one that, not the one that came in and said you're Moorish, but the one that was served.
Oh, Fakir. Oh, what's the name?
Oh, not this one, because there was another guy before.
Oh, before. Yeah.
And we were talking about it, and I said, the Califaaahhh in South America, 5000 BC, because he said, because he asked, Morocco. I said, but it's also in Southeast Asia and all these different places, right? So, and I think when I mentioned the Califaaahh, he said, he knew about it. What was that?
Joe, Jesus didn't look like he coming back. That ain't Jesus. I don't know who that is. That ain't Jesus. I don't know if that's his play cousin. We don't know who that is. Jesus dead. That. Let me show y'all real. That's how we was done. He's sick.
Empress Zara said Jesus looks sick. Yeah, man.
He got the pox.
Like they, so I'm not gonna copyright the shoulders with it, but they all looked grey. The discoloration in there was wild.
Oh, back up. Control team. Oh, those of you that still drink wine, you would like some Negro Amaro? I don't know if it tastes good. I don't drink anymore. But shout outs to Negro Amaro. Amaro Negro. Negro Amaro. Because some of y'all saying y'all Moors, but y'all acting like Negros. Y'all saw that Moor's head chopped off. It was getting ready to kick his head into the field, like into the goal post. He was getting ready to score. Like, look, those of y'all still drink.
That's where football came from.
Mm-hmm. Kicking them heads to the Moor, dead heads. Those of y'all still drink, you know what I mean? Negro Amaro. I don't know if it tastes good. I mean, I ain't drinking a long time. I'm just saying. Shout out to Negro Amaro. Boop, boop, boop.
And we've had, you know, that being said.
Oh, 15 euros. So it's
affordable.
It's all right. It might be all right.
That's all right.
Hey, if nothing else, we're not encouraging them to drink.
Yeah, we
Take
are.
it for
Drink.
your ritual.
You're gonna need it.
Take it for your ritual. Libations. You're gonna need it when you
when you got paid in bills. You're gonna need that.
You get slapped that room and realize, oh, I still gotta pay bills? Yep. And your bill is bigger than everybody else's, and it's just become due.
Incognito could not come close to this type of travel experience and knowledge.
And just look at the back of this church. This is what we can go. We couldn't find this one. They didn't have a door for this one. Like, just look at the design.
I have a temptation. I have a funny feeling they might turn that into university. Because everywhere we went, we circled the block. We couldn't find it. I think they might. Because
Right.
Look who messing my picture. Look who messing my picture.
And you see the vibe. This is. We're not putting this on for you because we're on.
We don't know you.
We don't know you. Like, we
Period.
travel together because we like each
Oh,
other.
he's sick, man. This brethren's sick. Like, he look.
look at it, right?
We call this Delhi belly. Like, anybody ever been to India? You know what I'm saying? Hindustan. Like, look, this what happens when you get sick. Again, it's nothing but death in these churches, yo. It's sad.
But that being said, that was the only image where that dark mother, and actually no, funny enough, that's when we were able to notice the change, right? Because every other picture to that point, Mary interacted with the body. There's the Shiro, right? Mary, or the energy of the mother, always was handling the body of Isa. Always handling
High
the
priest,
body of
the
Isa.
high priest of Anu.
Right? Always handling the body of Isa. Until we got to that image, and I'm like, why? And that's the first image that we saw of that deity, right? Why is she not handling the body? Why is the body in a... And look how she was adorned. She was over it. She was almost like glorified above the corpse. And it was just her job to watch the corpse. And ever since then, this deity kept presenting itself, and Lucy didn't hide itself from us. Lucy was popping up everywhere. Like,
and just to add off his wisdom, like, this is for the dirty Moors. Like, those of y'all want to keep selling packages and trying to get people to sell their birthright. Like, the more fire. If you know who Capleton is, we are gonna burn you. Like, this is we gotta get the dirty Moors.
On some Capleton vibes.
More fire. Like, this is like, and you can see like their hands and feet down there. Like, this is graphic, yo.
Let me hit Cujo with this one. So on some Capleton vibes, we'll do it on some Stalin vibes. Peter Wade, Peter looks to sell roads by the gate, bunchy. Remember that bunny? Remember that? Judgment morning. About the gate and I'm waiting. See, I'm begging the master. Give me a word with Peter. Cujo knows that. Peter, look, the English woman who sent foreign troops to the Caribbean. Bunchy.
Look, he's like Delhi belly. Cujo, you stupid. So some of them, like, this was the last church. Like, they have a Moor in here slaying the peons. That last one had a couple of them in there. Like, you can see, like, this Moor right here, and there's one more in the background, and you can see that they've been just like that Dutty Moor energy. We gotta get rid of them. Scimitar ready.
fascinating the difference between cathedrals in this region.
Look at the energy right here. Look at him.
It's nuts, man.
Look at this. More ready to.
That's what I mean, yeah.
Ooh.
When I saw that image, I'm like this. They let you know that like we didn't kick ass. We kicked all the ass that there was to be kicked. Like, you know what I mean? Like there was
Absolutely.
there was no half stepping about it.
Fascinating.
And this more right here, he must have had some bad street food. I don't know what's wrong with that more. I don't know what's happening. He got the legs is shaking. He got bubble guts. He got bubble guts. Like that's not good. You know what I'm saying?
But even the stained glass window, like, and looking at the story, looking at the stained glass window, like, funny enough, it's really funny.
The camera.
So it's really funny. The in Nuremberg, or when we're at Germany.
Oh, there she is again. I forgot about this one.
Oh, and that was dark, right? That was dark.
Even the way
right?
they're painted, it's dark.
Now, you might not be able to see that. Like, look how dark that is. Look how, now, that is the only image that I think that we saw of that darker entity handling, like, the body. But that's not the body of Christ.
Oh, now this is lighter, so I got a better one.
Yeah, like, that's not the body
But
of
still,
Christ.
like, the colors that are used.
And look at that M, that V, the Vesca Pisces. Like it's a lot of it's a lot of science going on right in here.
Right? And we're gonna show. Do you want to show the Medina? Because the now what I will say, and I will give. I don't know if we give credit to the custodians, right? The Medina.
This place? What are you talking about?
No. The one that we first went into with the roof, the like Holy of Holies, right? The school.
Oh, the
Right.
madrasa. Yeah.
Madrasa.
Okay.
Now, we give honors and credence to custodians because no, we do, we have to. Like, for those that have done their job well, because
Did they do it well?
we look at things like this.
Look at that
this was
detail.
untouched, and the only way they left it untouched was by allowing no one to go in there. Now, we were only able to capture small images from it. If you saw it in person, it was so beautiful and ornate. Like, you look at it and you think to yourself, like, Brother Sheldon just kept saying in terms of the fact, like, imagine coming here every single day as your place of learning, your school. Like, it would naturally elevate you in it, because you're like this. The thought of mind and the presence of mind to create that. Let's not even look at the ornate work in terms of the tile work, and also the craft in terms of actually etching out. Looking at the stone, we're etching out those patterns in the stone. If you get to look at the ceiling, how they etched out the ceiling, it literally looks like the ceiling is dropping into. Oh, I can't even do my words won't do it justice. But for those who've ever seen like Islamic structures and seen that, I call it resonance architecture.
I'm going to show this one.
Sacred geometry architecture, right? And Bruce is about to show it. Where it doesn't matter where you stand, you're viewing divinity.
Right. And this is this is the thing with the sacred geometry that's being used, and how just it being in your peripherals, just you looking at it, it's doing something to your. Yeah. It's just doing something to your essence, to your DNA, right? It's just like listening to frequencies and so on and so forth. So going to such a place every single day, or not even going there, you live there, you domicile there, right?
Now the madrasa is just like, when you have boarding school. So the children would be chosen to go. Girls and boys, by the way. We know some of our Moors have some problems with mother. But the girls, and the oldest university in the kingdom in Morocco is started by a sister. So when we're talking about, you go back to the oldest forms of all organized religions as far as we know it, and you have mother there patronizing and supporting and helping pay for those apostles and paying for their transportation. So do your studies, because we got too many Moors that get a little concerned Oh, let me get back in here with my fez on. I just want to do it for posterity, just to make sure. Because we got too many people concerned about our people not knowing that they're not Negro, Black, and colored. And those of you that don't know to Google a fez and how many sisters from ancient times to modern times are wearing this. And if you don't know what it symbolizes, please do your due diligence. This should not be your concern. Your concern should be with uplifting fallen humanity and letting people know about who Nubo Ali is, his literature, and what he had planned for us. Don't worry about if sisters are wearing fezzes. That's a distraction. Islam.
Oh my gosh, it's blasphemy. Oh.
Okay, so can you imagine this energy?
And if anybody
want to
play again, I did this last year. Somebody wanted to step up. If anybody want to come on and join, I'd be happy to tap dance on your forehead if you would like me to.
I'd love to see it.
Let me pull it up on here.
Like, it's most like just coming back on Empress's point, like there's no way we're gonna do this if we don't do it together, right? Like, everybody has their position to play. And I think that for me, the thing that a lot of us have been remiss on is we realize that everybody wants to be, not everybody's built to be a leader, right? There are more people that are built to be followers. But that's not a bad position to be in, because really and truly, if you're a leader that can't find people to lead, yeah, you're a leader, but you're a leader of one, right? And if you don't know how to follow adequately, in terms of, you'll never be able to lead. And this idea of those who usurp only usurp because they're not ready to take the reins, right? There's never a time that a usurper is more than overqualified in order to take the position, and it's just a matter of time that before it's given to them. What am I saying? Why am I saying this? I say all this to say, first and foremost, understand your position. Secondly, learn how to play it. And as my brother likes to say, you can't do the fancy shit until you get the basics right? And when you learn how to play your position, then you can understand what the advancements of your position are, right? But first you need to learn how to get on the field. You need to learn the rules.
And the first one is to put Prophet Nobar Ali out front. Stop those of you that have this issue with trying to be the prophet for fame and nobility. It's not about you. And you're going to have to wave later.
I'll pull it in. So I'm going to just be like rotating.
Okay, that's what you did before.
So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Put the prophet first. Stop worrying about me wearing a fez.
Yeah, Moz. And ask yourself the question, what purpose am I trying to achieve? And
your ego. You're trying to make money because you don't want to get a regular job.
And one thing that I see is, I don't have offspring as of yet, but the idea of lifting fallen humanity, it's been said many, many a times. It's not for you. It might not be for your offspring. It might not even be for your offspring's offspring. But 3, 4, 5, 7 generations down the line, that is the idea of being our ancestors reborn, or ancestors come again. We are here today. Our culture still exists today because our ancestors had the foresight and the wherewithal to build things in antiquity that last till today. Things that cannot be erased. Things that, yes, okay, cool. You can chip the nose off of nearly every single statue wherever we are around the world, but you can't get rid of the culture, right? You can't get rid of the stonework. You can't get rid of every image. You can't get rid of the Temple of Dendra, right? And I say all this to say, we just gotta show up. You just gotta show up. Sometimes, and I'm an arsehole, I'll tell you that for free. I'll tell you that for free. But sometimes you stop and you just smile, and I don't mean that in terms of moving with negativity. When you stand in your proper person, in terms of there is no apology that needs to be given. People aren't questioning you, they're questioning themselves. because you are the answer. But you need to understand how you're the answer and qualify yourself. Otherwise, you'll always seek for external validation. And that I yield. Islam.
And Islam, and Noble Drew Ali said, oh, Noble Drew Ali, who's that? He said, just be yourselves, Moors. And so when we're talking about like culture, Google ancient culture, ancient Moorish culture. Like we have to start creating our narrative in the positive affirmative, not about people being street Moors, not about people getting locked up 3 to 5 years allegedly for doing stuff. Like we have to create a narrative that restores the culture and reminds people, yes, remember, this is what we brought to humanity. And that also is a reflection of our behavior, even if we're challenged, even if somebody disagrees. Oh my goodness, can you imagine a Moor disagree with another Moor? Oh my goodness. Like we have to have the ability to agree to disagree, or just not agree and not have to have a war, maybe. But like when we're if we need to, we know what we have to do. And so sometimes stay in your lane. If you are not if you're not well versed, if you're not competent, if you're not good at talking to people, maybe you should be sitting in the back. Or if you're older more, maybe we're gonna put you in the back seat. Like we gotta have people that understand and understand what they bring to the table, and knowing that everything is not for everybody. Everybody doesn't need to write a book because it's going to be trash and no one's going to buy it.
I say to that.
Everybody doesn't need to buy t-shirts or try to make fezzes. And we've seen what some people have done trying to make fezzes. Like, good Lord. So what we're talking about is, this is where you do your work. So go into the literature. Get all of the things to go into what the prophet says. Stop following these idol worshipers. These people always trying to mix truth and falsehood.
Califaaahhh!
Oh. You know what I mean? Like we got to do better. And that's the stuff that we can do. It doesn't cost anything. Your nationality and birthright is free. And people, oh, we going to go to court. With what? You got what? How many years you studied law? If you don't got 10 law dictionaries and you can't tell me 10 books that you read on law, I'm not following you anywhere. Don't go to jail based off of some knucklehead you never met before. You're not going to move across the country because you met him more on IG. Stop. Like, who are these people that are leading you? Where did you come from? Can you do a background check on yourself and put it up online so we know who you are? Can you give me 10 Moors that know who you are by this appellation? Who are you? We're not just believing you because you want to get fame and nobility. You trying to come at Cujo because you're jealous or insecure or whatever. We need to do some background checks. Like we gonna do a credit check. What's your credit score? What's your Moorish credit score?
Who knows you?
You know,
Who raised you?
the children's book that you told us about today.
Oh, I took a picture of that.
You have to get that.
This is why Drew Ali is the man.
Oh, did I take it on this phone?
This is why Drew Ali is the man. In this children's book, it basically says the Moors were Muslims. And it says they fell because they were fighting amongst themselves. And then the Christian forces just took over the remnants of what happened.
And these are people that you obviously know. These are
children's books.
Oh, here we go. Right here. Boom, boom, boom.
You want to read it? Oh.
So this is the source. Because as Moors, we give sources. This is the book. It costs 10 euros. So we're going to give y'all a 50 cent euro tax if you trying to get us to order one. I ain't Cash App. I don't accept no Cash App, so I don't know what y'all going to do. But you might be able to get this online. The Alhambra Told to the Children. This is what the babies know.
And this is on the first page.
This is the tour. Every tourist little trap they have around Granada has this. In multiple languages. Right?
And all of the information is on the first page.
The first page.
And I'll read. Emma, do you want to read it or I'll read it? Or actually, do you want to show it and I'll read it to him?
Okay, you can go ahead. I'll show it.
So, our beautiful language.
Hold on.
You got it?
Yeah, I'm trying to zoom in a little bit. Was that the wrong page? Here we go. There we go.
Our beautiful language. Then came the Visigoths. From all these peoples, we have inherited endless things, customs, even laws, and a magnitude of words. At the beginning of the 8th century, the Moors arrived, whose religion was Islam. We call them Muslims.
Sorry, again, they call them what?
We call them Muslims.
Muslims?
No, Muslims.
Oh.
Mohammedans.
Oh.
And look how they spell Mohammedans with the abbreviation.
Because it's
Saracens.
a title. It's a title.
Well, how did they spell it? How did they spell Muhammad?
MOHAM-MEDANS. So it's a title.
It's a title, not a person.
Same way Emir, Khan, title. So I'll read that again. We call them Muslims, Mohammedans, Saracens, owing to their exploits.
Saracens as well.
Saracens, right? Owing to their exploits. For they were very brave. They became the masters of the whole of Spain, except for a small corner in the north. They were learned and cultivated, and they had their heyday under the Caliphate of Cordoba. But they fought amongst themselves.
Read that again.
What?
They were learned and cultivated. They had their heyday under the Caliphate of Cordoba. But they fought amongst themselves.
They fought amongst themselves.
Oh, women can't wear fezzes. That's a distraction. Go ahead.
They fought amongst themselves and against the Christians, which is also ourselves.
Moors against Moors, just like today.
And then they lost their sense of unity.
Read that again.
What happened?
And then they lost their sense of unity and split up into a multitude of small independent kingdoms called taifas. And needless to say, the Christians took advantage of this and reconquered their land, kingdoms of Artorias, of Leon, of Castle, and Navarre of Aragon.
Read that again. So the Christians what?
The Christians took advantage of this.
Took advantage of it.
To reconquer their lands. So it's still our lands, but it's two sides of the schism, as it were, right? And it goes, and the page ends with, one of these Muslim kingdoms was the kingdom of Granada. And it goes on to here, there. This is page 1. So if this is on page 1 of a children's book, what are we as seeming adults doing out here, not knowing this information and chatting shit like we're learned?
And look at the cost of a Moor trying to sell you this book. It costs 10 euros. So don't be trying to buy this for $100. Like, look, y'all, like go online. You can find it.
But you know what? Maybe we should buy them all.
I ain't buying them nothing. Get your passport.
And send them and sell them for like $75 a pop. What do you think, man?
Yeah.
I'm not a Dutch
Cash it.
boy.
You got to cash it.
No, you can't get my cash app. This is 10 euros. Like y'all gotta start investing. Like this is, if you have a young one, I would say even 10 or 9, they need to be reading this. You need to read this to them and read with them. Y'all, we gotta do better. This don't cost you a lot. Y'all, we gotta do better. Islam.
And Moors, it's very simple. When I say it's very simple in terms of it's so simple it's stupid, the only thing that blocks us is ourselves.
Oh, we didn't show that.
And I'll say this to say, you've seen me with these Moors for the past couple of years.
Yeah, show that.
And I'll say this to say, the most difficult part of this work is getting yourself out of your own way. Once you're able to do that, the downloads, the insight, the intuition, the connection to source, the connection to self. For example, the difficulty of getting to, you know how we always say it's easy to travel. Once I'm with my Moors, once I'm with my family, life is easy. Getting to connect with the Moors,
Say that
always a
again.
challenge.
Say that again.
What are you saying?
Once you connect with your Moors, easiest thing in the world. Getting to connect with your Moors, it's like the world does everything in its world. The world does everything in its power in order to try and prohibit you. What do I mean by that? So, traveling with frequent travelers. So obviously, I've got the privilege and the insight of we don't fuck around. We get there 3-4 hours ahead of
Legally
time.
Blind. What's the book again?
Oh, Empress. What's the title again?
I don't even know if you can't buy that anywhere.
Yeah, you can.
You can buy it
You can
online.
buy it. Yeah, I think one of the Empresses said that it's in her Amazon cart. Yeah, you can get
okay.
it.
Well, there you
So-
go.
That's what I said we got.
The Alhambra told
Two children.
Take a screenshot, Google Lens. Like, y'all gotta up y'all. How y'all studying and y'all don't know how to like ask queries? Like, come on now.
So I say that to say while that's still on the screen. So bearing in mind, Empress came from overseas. And Brother Sheldon came from mainland Europe. They were essentially further away than I was. I'm in the UK. I should have been able to essentially spit and land in Granada.
I told him to walk because for him it's half as what y'all don't see is how tall this man is, right? How tall this Moor is. We call him Hanuman Bey. So technically speaking, from London he should take about a quarter of a step and just land in Spain, or he should just bend down and pick up Spain and bring it to him.
So like it should have been so easy for me to get here, but anyway, I decided to travel with the peasants. As you know, we're Moors, but you know sometimes we got to travel with everybody else, right? So got to the train station. Every single train to the airport cancelled. Fantastic. I then was with I then met a modern European family in the train station. Guess what the name of the modern European was? His father with a Benjamin. Okay, I'm not letting the irony skip me on that. He and his family were in exactly the same issue. So he said he was going to get a vehicle to take us to the airport, and he said he'd offer me a ride, which I was very grateful for. It turns out that I wasn't able to enter the vehicle because there wasn't enough space in terms of the luggage.
No more is allowed.
Right? Guess the name. The vehicle that pulled up, the make and model of the vehicle was called a Seat, which is a Spanish car manufacturer. A Seat Alhambra. And where was I traveling to? Granada. So, and I won't go into the rest of the story. I ended up getting stranded in Barcelona and ended up getting here many, many hours after the other Moors. But I say all this to say, where there's a will, there's a way. And if you look closely enough, you don't even have to look too hard. The universe is always sending you signals. If you're on the right path, wrong path, the universe will always send you signals. Are you in alignment? That's the only question you have to ask. Am I in alignment? And look around, ask yourself the question and look around, and I can assure you, if it takes you more than a day to see if you're whether you are or not, in terms of maybe that might be a larger, but the universe is going to tell you exactly where you are, and more importantly, where you need to be. So with that, I'll yield and hand over to my other Moors, but give thanks.
Oh, just the last thing before we close, because we see we're losing people. I'm like, y'all just leaving us. We talked about this degree. So when you have the 101 amazing facts about the Negro from our brethren J.A. Rogers, we know that we have our culture, this brotherhood here. And you got to get the original, don't get that new one. So like this is what they wear during Holy Week. So when you see them with their pointed cap on and they're marching in the street, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to get back to because they have some stores where they have to put, this is not the Ku Klux Klan, we're not racist, because ignorant people come over here and they see, and I'm going to try to show if I got the white one, because I was going to actually buy one, but it's too large. And I was going to burn some incense on live, just go live. Well, because of it's like, he's going to have to wrap that like super. Like if he can show me a box and he can wrap it, I'll get the white one.
If you put it in your hand luggage though, would it be still safe?
But I want him to have a box. That's what I'm saying. Like, because it's very large. Yeah. So what I wanted just to say, like, these are things that are here and that you can actually see that is every day. Like, so when we take things for granted, so what we want to do is just to make sure that the signs and symbols, we study iconography, we study anthropomorphism, we study architecture. Like, even when I was in South America a couple of weeks ago, like the Moorish like it's insane how much they honor us. And this is every day. We got to do a better job, y'all. Just make sure that we can, have conversations, talk to your loved ones. Don't be trying to go out and save the world. That's when I get a little side-eye, when I get concerned. Don't be telling me about trying to save the world. Talk to your brother, your sister, your partner, your parents, your cousins, your nieces, nephews, grandchildren. Don't be trying to talk to everybody. outside of your house. Start with the people that you love. Get them to know about our culture. And that way, when they go out in the world, this is the preservation that we can do. Stop trying to be who you're not yet. Just honor your mothers and fathers so your days will be long on the earth plane. Islam, I yield the floor.
No shade of that.
Shade.
I ain't got nothing to say. This is what it's all about. This is what it's all about. Just reading a comment by Cujo. This is what it's all about.
Cujo, a couple weeks ago. You disrespectful, Cujo. We traveling more. That's what we. You weren't you just in Mecca, Cujo? Why you playing? Are you still in Mecca, Cujo? Why you trying to put me out here? The people we love. Okay, can't stand hearing the truth. But they can. I'm a witness.
Mm-hmm.
My brother and my mom have proclaimed and declared that they're Moors. It's possible. It is.
And they have to. Yeah, and they have to come. They have to come on their own.
Yep, in their own time. Don't force it.
You can't force it. You really can't force it.
You gotta meet them where they're at, right?
Yeah.
They'll see your walk. They'll see how you move. Like the application. So Moors, let me just say this, because I think that was brethren near Maryland that said that. So when you are walking different, talking different, looking different, they'll notice. It's like the path of least resistance. Like if you're going to keep pushing it, they're going to run away. Stop. Just live your life according to the principles of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. And I know you are. Islam. All Feds act. Everybody's. It ain't about me. Good try.
Yeah, I saw that.
Cool
yeah,
job.
so I don't even know what to add, man. You know, I said everything.
Right.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to tomorrow. I'm really looking forward to tomorrow.
Ooh, Alhambra. This is before the Alhambra. So when you see us tonight, and it's actually it's 1 a.m. Spain time.
Yes, I go.
Y'all, most of y'all are 6
early.
hours behind.
Yeah, we gotta get up there early.
Oh, you're gonna see us tomorrow. Just
Looking beat down.
but just
We're gonna have a good live
We're
tomorrow.
gonna have a glow. It's gonna be.
Yeah. Well, yeah, man. I mean, not to add. They said everything. So give thanks for joining. What? About to premiere this tonight. Y'all go get some sleep. Yeah, for real.
So what you gonna name? What you gonna name it, Cujo?
Yeah, we know. Yeah, we know.
let's start sending those global shots out.
Looking like that Jesus. He's dumb, yo. Oh, Islam more. Thank you, Islam. We got 2 parts, Cujo. Don't be trying to. We gotta monetize Cujo. He gotta pay to put our stuff up there. He can't just do it for free. You know?
You have to send a link for the Cash App to them. They gotta pay for us.
Well, didn't Cujo have to pay somebody to come to the temple? Didn't he have to do that?
Didn't they request that?
Yeah, like in order for me to come to your temple, you gotta pay me. In order for you to use his live or his IG, you gotta pay me.
Yeah, it's crazy. So yeah, that's about it. 20 seconds. Give thanks for joining. 23 seconds.
Man,
give thanks for joining. Peace and love, Moors.
Islam.
Islam Moors, give love.
Oh, I'm sorry, Fezd up.
Fezd up. Salam nu.
I will put my Cash App. Don't worry. Islam.
Salam. Till tomorrow.
Till tomorrow. It's gonna be dope tomorrow. All right. Peace and love, y'all.
Peace and love, everyone. Islam GS.